November 27th is Thanksgiving in the United States, which means football, 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 and more football with Jelani Goodridge-Reid. Jelani,
Yes, sir.
Thanksgiving in the States does it properly.
Feels good,
Football
man. Feels good.
all day.
Yeah.
Turkey.
You can relax.
Black Friday shopping.
Of course. Already did mine.
What else? What more could you want as a sports fan, right? So today we're going to go through the 3 matchups on NFL Thanksgiving and give you guys our picks. So Jelani, first, we're going to go to the Motor City, Detroit, where the Detroit Lions have the longest win streak in the NFC, which is 3 games.
Who would have thought that right now, right?
Who would have thought, right? So the Lions are 9.5-point dogs to the Buffalo Bills, who just played a home game in Detroit.
In Detroit, yeah.
So
second straight in Detroit for them, right?
Second straight in Detroit, but the Bills did go back home, and they're coming back to Detroit. Now, the over-under is also set at 54.5. Jelani, can the Bills cover this spread? I think it's got a big.
It is a big spread. I'm somebody that believes the Bills are going to come in here and crush them. I honestly, I think that's going to happen. So I will actually take the 9.5.
Wow.
I don't really like going with these big numbers. You know me already. 9.5, it is much, right? A lot of their wins haven't been by 10 points even, right? But I think this game, I'm looking at Josh Allen. I think that he's, after that loss against the Vikings, I think, you know, they beat the Browns. They're feeling good about themselves, right?
Kind of back on track.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be a good one. It's indoors, so that helps. That helps matters, of course. I do think, though, the Lions, they are playing some good football, right? So if you are Bills better out there, it's not a guarantee by any stretch. It's not a guarantee, but I do like the 9.5. What about you?
I'm going to take the Lions to cover the spread. I will take the Bills money line all day, but 9.5 such a big spread. And also Thanksgiving for Detroit and Detroit Lion fans, that's their Super Bowl. That's their moment where they're on prime time. The whole football world is going to be watching, right? The Lions are going to show up. Dan Campbell have them ready to run through a brick wall.
I'm just like, how is Jared Goff going to show up against this defense? That's my question.
He's got some good weapons. That's Jamal Williams, the touchdown machine. DeAndre Swift's playing a lot better. Amon St. Brown. Look, there's weapons there.
Williams broke Sanders' record.
Yeah, exactly. He's on my fantasy team, and he's killing it for me.
That must help.
Thank you, Jamal Williams. But I'm going to take the Lions plus 9.5. It's too big of a spread, and for Detroit, this is the biggest game of their season. They're going to do it. But I think the over at 54.5 will hit.
Yeah, I take the over.
Generally, the Lions do play very high-scoring Thanksgiving games. Remember, of course, there was the Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary, right? And there's also the Dallas Cowboys. Remember Calvin Johnson?
Oh, yeah,
I'm sure you remember that very well.
Yeah.
Right? So there's high-scoring games, so I'm going to take the over on that one.
I was actually at that game. The one that Calvin had 329 on us.
So speaking of that, speaking of your Dallas Cowboys, some are calling this the Odell Bowl.
I'm calling it that for sure, man.
Calling it the Odell Bowl. So basically, the Cowboys are playing host to the New York Giants. Again, Thanksgiving in Dallas. Will Zeke run into the Salvation Army bucket?
I hope so.
If he's healthy. It might be Tony Pollard this year. Who knows, right? Dallas is a 9.5-point favorite, which is massive to me in a divisional game. Which is, look, I didn't understand why they were favorites in Minnesota, but hey, they balled out. They proved they should have been favorites.
40-3, man.
But that was a big win. You know, their chests are sticking out. Jerry's all fired up talking about the Super Bowl. 9.5 points is way too much.
Sounds like you're going with the Giants
in a divisional game. The Cowboys on Thanksgiving.
Some struggles, my brother. I'll tell you that much. I've had a few tough Thanksgivings.
Deshaun Jackson last year came from the dead and had that big touchdown.
As soon as he stepped on the field, I knew it was going to happen.
Exactly, right? So I think the Giants are going to cover the 9.5 points, but I think they're going to win this game because they got punched
Giants
in the
money
face.
Line.
They got punched in the face against Detroit. Brian Dable is going to have this team fired up because they're kind of feeling themselves, right? You know, they're all doing really well, and now they got humbled. And I think they're going to come back with a vengeance. And I think Odell Beckham Jr. knows. He's teasing the Cowboys.
You better come home, man.
He's going to go back. He's going to come home back to New York. So I'm going to take the Giants plus 9.5. And then the line is set at 45.5. I think this is going to be a pretty low-scoring game.
I think so, too. I take the under.
I'm going to take the under in this game, but what says you?
Yeah, so under in this game for sure. I think this is going to be a very close game. NFC East games usually close. I find this line to be too big. I'm going with the Giants on the spread here. Money line wise, I do have confidence in the Cowboys that they could get this one done. I'm looking at Brian Dable. You mentioned him, one of the coaches of the year candidates right now. And yeah, they had a bad game on Sunday against the Lions. Let's be real. They're going to come up and try to mess up our season. Let's be honest, right?
Well, I mean, they would bump ahead of Dallas in the
They
division,
would, right? And they get a step closer to Philadelphia. So this is a massive game for both sides. Can Dallas be humble, right? Because they had a 37-point win on the road in the North in Minnesota, right? So they're obviously feeling good about themselves. That was the biggest margin of victory in franchise history on the road. But I don't want Dallas to be like, you know what? It's the Giants. We own them the past few years. You already beat them, right? What, Daniel Jones? What are they gonna do, right? Because if that's their mindset, the Giants can go in there and win that game. So that's why I'm like, can Dallas just stick to the game plan?
Right.
Tony Pollard's doing a fantastic job this year. Give him the ball. Pay him as well. Please pay him. But yeah, I think this is going to be a close game. I'm looking at it like a 24-21 type of game.
Okay,
or maybe
cool.
27. But
now,
yeah,
we talked about the team that Dallas smacked, the Minnesota Vikings. They conclude the Thursday night action on Thanksgiving by playing host to the New England Patriots, a team that kind of got lucky.
They got lucky. Let's be real, man. They got lucky,
Yeah, they got the last-second punt return touchdown. Now, the Vikings are minus 2.5. They're 2.5-point favorites at home.
At home, okay.
Against the Pats. I think you're going to get a pissed-off Minnesota Vikings team that got taken off national TV against the Cowboys, right? Because they 37-point loss. They're going to be so fired up. Thursday night, NBC is going to be in the joint. Thanksgiving. I think the Vikings are going to destroy the Patriots.
Yeah, you think so?
2.5 is too small.
2.5.
We were talking about the other lines being too big. 2.5
this
too
one
small.
for me, I feel like it should be like a 4.5.
5.5, I think.
Maybe something like that. And you mentioned it. I think the Vikings get this one done. Money line wise, spread wise, I think this is the game where Justin Jefferson wakes up again. Because let's be honest, Diggs, he did a good job against him on the weekend. He did.
Yeah, he did.
Right?
But the Dallas defense did a very good job.
So he had less than 30 yards or like 30 yards on the weekend. So this is a game where, remember, another former great Minnesota Viking, Randy Moss, he went crazy on the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. I think Justin Jefferson will have a huge game.
Receptions, $169,
I'm
3
looking
touchdowns.
At over 100 yards in this game.
Okay, yeah, hey,
right?
I would take that too.
I think, and the Patriots, their defense, they're coming off of a fantastic performance, right?
Against Zach Wilson,
but that was
the
the Jets. I mean, let's compare, right?
But Kirk Cousins at primetime though.
That's the one thing. That's the thing to watch out for. Will he deliver? I don't know.
If he doesn't deliver, then
he better, because on the other side, Mac Jones, he's regressing, right? I don't expect a lot of points for the Patriots.
So in conclusion, we both got the Vikings minus 2.5. We both got the Giants plus 9.5. He's got
Bills Mafia
9.5. I got Detroit plus 9.5.